Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Episode 3 of our 4 or 5 part series of Godzilla, celebrating Godzilla's 65th anniversary. This is episode 3, the Millennium series. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell y'all right now, you're either going to, unsubscribe to us here. You're probably going to curse us out. But I'm telling you right now, this one is going to be the ups and downs, ebbs and flows. Yeah, I have no idea what's coming. Well, I'm telling you right now, we're going to rustle some jimmies in the immortal words of my brother Anthony. Rest in pepperoni, my brother. But joining me, as always, my right hand on a G show when it comes to Godzilla, G73, Maxie, my brother Chase. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right.
You ready to rock and roll on this one?
Oh, yeah.
And I would be remiss if I did not mention my other co-host, cohort on the Godzilla Block Party, Gam Z1, my brother Andrew. Hey, you not still hurting over the Hesai spanking we gave you, are you?
I it depends how bad the Millennium one is.
I mean, come on, we're entering a new millennium. Y2K is going to kill us all. We're good.
We're good. There we go. Here we go. Let's get right into it. Oh my God. Yes, I did. Don Fry, ladies and gentlemen. We ended the Hesai series and Godzilla melted down in one of the most classic and just awe-inspiring sequences in the entire franchise. And at the end of that, Godzilla Jr. is shown as a fully formed now Godzilla. And here in my brain, I'm thinking, we're going to get a brand new Godzilla movie featuring that young buck. But no, what do we get instead? And here we go. Here we go. Chase, are you ready? We get 1998's TriStar Hollywood version. And I know what y'all thinking right now. What is he saying? That's right. 1998's TriStar, Roland Emmerich, Godzilla. Ladies and gentlemen, just hear me out for 1 second. 1998 Godzilla is a part of the Millennial Saga. It really is. And if you don't believe me, well, just look at Final Wars, because guess who comes to dinner? I'm just saying. So that is why I am putting this one right up top of the Millennium Saga. And yes, this is not just the Toho, it is Godzilla's 65th anniversary. And I'm not going to just take the 1998 movie and bunch it with an American version of Godzilla. For that, we would talk about the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. We would talk about the Godzilla the Series cartoon. We would talk about the Marvel Comics, the IDW. That's not happening. This is the movies. And this movie came out in 1998, a year before Toho said, nah, screw that. We're going to do this ourselves. 1998, TriStar Pictures gives us Godzilla. And oh boy, the first Americanized version of our beautiful monster is not what we think. It is, to many, a complete abomination. And to a very small few, livable. I'm one of those very small fews that think this is a livable movie. I could totally watch this movie, and I could totally see it says Godzilla, and I could totally say, yeah, but that's not Godzilla. That's the beast from 20,000 Fathoms. And I'm totally okay with that. I get it. I like this movie. It's dumb. It's goofy. It's everything I don't like in a Godzilla movie. And I don't look at it as a Godzilla movie, even though it says Godzilla in the title. So, as much as y'all probably going to hate on this, this to me is a millennial film. It is the legit kickstart to Toho saying, nah, we're going to do it. It really is. Toho didn't go on that much of a hiatus, okay? Like they planned to. They planned, all right, we're going to go on hiatus here. We kill Godzilla off, and then America is going to, do its own thing. That thing came crashing down quick, fast. It was ugly. It was disgusting, and it is what it is. It's a terrible mockery. It is not Godzilla. It is a giant iguana running through New York. I like a lot of the action sequences. I enjoy things getting blown up. Godzilla's atomic breath is just bad breath. You know what I'm saying? And that's the end of that. The series is way better than the movie, but I like it a lot, enough to give it a thumb up. Chase, what about you, my brother? Oh, we get in trouble, by the way, Chase. Do you think they're going to come after us for this one?
Oh, they'd be afraid to. Just let them watch them try.
Yes.
You know, because I mean, it's just fair with what they did to Shin Godzilla. So
Okay.
98. I'm also one of those unique gems. One of the fans that actually does not dislike this movie. I like 98 a lot. You know, as a movie as a whole, it's entertaining. It's fun. I enjoy the actors. You know, I enjoy the idea of it. And, I mean, sure, it's not the benevolent, radioactive, atomic fire-breathing, you know, monster from hell, but it sure is from France, so it's close enough. You know, I dig it. I had fun with it. You know, I think it's a fun monster movie. You know, as a kid, I loved monster movies. You know, Godzilla was just the epitome of them, but I loved all kinds. You know, I loved, you know, werewolf movies. I loved Kong. I loved, you know, dinosaur movies. You know, I thought this was just one of those other movies that even though it had a title that was misleading, it still was, to me, a fun, decent film that I would sit around on 4th of July and watch.
Oh, good time.
You know, I enjoy it. But as an adult now, I watch that movie probably 5 times out of the year, you know. I watch that movie a lot.
Wow.
I have fun with it. I don't have any issues with it.
I haven't watched that movie in a long time, and I got to be honest. Another reason why this is definitely a millennial movie, GMK mentions it. Just saying to 2 millennium movies mentioning this one. Gam Z1, where you at?
That's a lot of fish.
Ha!
That's a lot of fish.
Oh, one thing I want to mention real quick, one thing I learned about 98 is that Lance Reddick, that actor, if you guys don't know who he is, he's in John Wick. He plays the bellhop.
Yes.
He had a part in Godzilla 98 that did not get put in the finished film. And now it's interesting because he is in Godzilla vs. Kong when or if that movie comes out.
Imagine it doesn't come out and we never get to see Lance Reddick in a Godzilla movie ever.
I know, he would probably be very disappointed.
But back to me, I physically cannot hate this movie because this is my first.
Ah. This one popped your cherry.
This one popped my cherry. I saw this in the theater in 1998 when I was just a wee 4-year-old boy. My mom saw that how enamored I was with the film in my little 4-year-old stupor. And she gave me her old VHS collection of Godzilla movies, and that's all she wrote. Zilla is the reason I like Godzilla. Zilla is the reason I'm sitting here today being a cinema snob talking about how the Showa series is better than everything else out there.
You keep saying this Zilla thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
The creature is Zilla. The movie is Godzilla.
Okay, just making sure you get that right.
Yeah. The creature is... the creature nowadays is called Zilla due to Toho. But
we didn't get there yet. We'll get there.
We didn't get that yet. It's still legally a Godzilla movie. The creature in this movie is still legally Godzilla. But I still call him Zilla because that's what he's known as nowadays.
We could totally chalk this up though to misrepresentation, which I think GMK did.
Yeah. But like even looking at it as its own thing, it's not the worst movie Roland Emmerich has ever made. 2012.
That was fun. Come on. Yeah.
10,000 BC.
I'll give you that one.
Independence Day sequel.
Now I'm gonna mute you from here on out. You better watch your mouth when it comes to
Resurgence was a gem.
Resurgence was a gem. Come on, son. And I don't mean to jump the gun here, but giant alien with a machine gun. Shut up. That's end all. End all. I love it. But I digress.
But yeah, like that Resurgence was just a pot shot at you guys. But yeah, it's not even Roland Emmerich's worst movie. Far from it. It's entertaining. The only character I don't like is Audrey.
I agree.
Yeah, the only character I don't like is Audrey. Animal has always been my favorite character out of the bunch. I love how the military is like. Everybody who I talk to say that this is like a pro-American movie, and I don't know what they're talking about because the military are bumbling morons in this movie, and it's great because they destroy more of the city than Godzilla does.
This is true.
And that's even a quote in the movie.
Yeah.
He done more damage than that goddamn thing did.
Hey, you know what? Freaking Siskel and Ebert have a sense of humor because those parodies of you guys with the mayor and his assistant, those were great. I loved them. They were funny.
Yeah.
But overall, I can't hate the movie, and I like Chase. I pop it in, not nearly as often, maybe like 2 or 3 times a year, but I do watch it. I do enjoy it.
It's been a very long time since I've seen that movie, and I own it on 4K. I need to rectify that soon. I was going to wait for the reviews, but you
mentioned good old Anthony, bless his heart, up in heaven. I remember he always told us he got a Blu-ray copy of '98 that he never took out of the cellophane wrap.
I love it.
And he also said he only watched it like once, and that was when he watched it the first time.
Yeah, in theaters. He watched it in theaters, never watched it again, but he kept on buying it. He kept on giving Sony the money.
Right now, my good friend, my brother, who's been on this podcast numerous times and was one of the curators of this podcast, jump-started. If it wasn't for him, my 2 cohorts here would not even be on. Right now, that dude is rolling over in his grave with this blasphemous stuff we are saying. But he knows.
I love you, Anthony. Come on.
He would know for a fact that Godzilla 1998 is a millennial film, and the reason for it is because it's not only mentioned in one, it is also shown in another. Now, so that being said, is this a thumbs up movie from all 3 of us?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I would recommend it over 4 out of the however many we talked about Heisei movies.
You can shut your face and stop it right there. We're not talking about the Heisei movies. You already lost. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is the legit return to the king of the monsters. Toho said, that didn't work. We're going to have to go back to the drawing board. And boy, did they go back to the drawing board. Because this, by far, ladies and gentlemen, is the most out of this world version. I won't say out of this world. That sounds like a damn alien. But I mean, like, so crazy and out there. This unbelievably different version of Godzilla. I mean, we're talking about Alligator-Zilla here, bro. The spikes on this thing's back was absolutely insane. Incredibly jagged. I'll never forget the first time I saw an image of this thing, like the promo image. I'm like, what the Fraggle Rock is that? And then the movie came out. And best believe, I owned that movie before it hit theaters. Japanese dub, no subtitles. And I watched it and 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 said, you know what? I absolutely love this movie. I absolutely do. This is one of my favorite movies. Gam Gam had mentioned something earlier, and it's unfortunate because while this movie does a lot of the solo things right, then they do add the monstrous element at the end that Godzilla has to fight, which I don't hate at all. But I love this movie. It is funny at times. It's charming at others. And God, Jesus, I didn't think I was going to like this Godzilla look at all. I freaking love it. There's some goofy looking shots of him. But this version of Godzilla, like that look, this costume, I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in. And the fact that at the end of this movie, when Godzilla is fighting Orgra, and The line is he's trying to become Godzilla while Orca is sucking Godzilla's blood from his arm, and it's looking like it's transforming into Gino. Man, I said, Toho, you win this round. You win this round. Thumbs up. One of my all-time favorite Godzilla movies. Chase, what about you?
I remember when I was a kid and I was at my uncle's apartment watching TV, and this trailer popped on, and I would not shut up about it. I had my uncle was into taping like videos, like shows and stuff on his VHSs and stuff.
Right.
I had him specifically videotape me this trailer for that commercial.
Was it the Rob Zombie one?
Yeah, it was the one in the United States showed on TV. And Super Beast, Rob Zombie Super Beast popped on. And I just remember this was what I wanted to watch, and I'm not going to shut up about it until I watch it. And then hearing that my parents are like, it doesn't come out till like Christmas or something like that.
It was
or
in December.
I'm like, oh, well, it's like October 30th. It's right after my birthday. I love this movie. It's a fun movie, and it's great. But there's a few things about it that, of course, I have a little bit of nitpicks with it. But I love the film. I think it's great. It's one of my favorite Godzilla movies. One of my favorite Godzilla designs.
Yeah.
And I dig it. With the few exceptions that I have with it, I think it's a great film.
After I saw the movie, I went to G-Fest after this movie came out, and again, I saw the movie a couple of times, and in theaters already. I had the original non-sub Japanese dialogue VHS bootleg, of course, and then the movie came out. I went to see the movie 3-4 times in theaters, and I remember going to G-Fest like the next year. And I met the designer of the suit, and I forget his name. I think it was like Wakasa. Oh my God! Does anybody remember the designer's name? No? Wow, Games. I thought you of all people would. But I remember meeting him. We were smoking a cigarette outside of the hotel on a Sunday, and his English was really good, really good. Like it was broken, but I mean, like there was not one time that I was like, "What did he say?" I understood everything he said, and he understood everything I said. And I said, listen, I just want to thank you because honestly, I didn't think this was going to be my cup of tea. I didn't say it like that. Verbatim, I don't remember what I said. But basically it was like, this wasn't the Godzilla I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I was looking for Junior. And what you gave me, and like the design, worked so well with this movie. And I was just like, thank you so much. Like, you brought a brand new Godzilla into my life that I cannot not love it. You know what I mean? And he was so humble. And that was one of those things I'll never forget how humble he was about it, how he thanked me, and how he was like, and I remember him saying this, he was very nervous about that design. And I will never forget that. I'll never forget smoking a cigarette outside of G-Fest with the creator of that 2000 suit. And I'm right now, kicking myself in the balls for not remembering his name, and I'm not about to go and look it up because that's dead space. But so yeah, Gams, Godzilla 2000.
Oh, Godzilla 2000. Such fond memories. I bet you if that worker at the Blockbuster back when it was on VHS was still around, he'd still fucking hate me because I would never return that movie. I wore that VHS for rent out. They had to replace it twice because of me.
Oh my God.
But nowadays I have a weird relationship with this movie. I love the look of this movie. It's basically if they took the King Goji suit from King Kong vs. Godzilla and turned the edge dial up to 11.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Orga is a pretty neat villain. I love him. He's got a really wacky design that hasn't been replicated in any other Godzilla monster, and it's so cool. It screams New Millennium to me.
You know what's crazy? You say that real quick. Godzilla 1984, it was Godzilla basically on a rampage solo. He fought the Super XES. And then Godzilla vs. Biollante, the sequel, you had this amazing design that's never been replicated in Biollante. In the second form. The same could be said here. You had this crackpot 98 version of Godzilla, quote unquote, and here's the sequel. You get this thing. I just had to throw that out there, ladies and gentlemen. Just had to throw that out.
But my weird relationship with this movie comes from one sole thing. I prefer the dub. I prefer the American version. Not only because it's what I grew up with. Even Toho executives themselves say that what Sony did with the re-edits, with the pacing changes, with the new music added to the film, it makes it the superior version to the original. The original has a lot of weird shit with it, weird pacing issues, a lot of stuff where there's no music, where I'm used to having music in certain scenes from watching the dub, and watching the Japanese version where there's no music. It's just it looks and sounds awkward to me. I still appreciate the Japanese version for paving the way for Sony to re-edit it to the version that I like. But with this Blu-ray that I'm holding in my hand that has both the Japanese and the American version, the Toho Godzilla collection from Sony, get this Blu-ray so that you can watch both back to back and see what I'm saying, because it's if you like the Japanese version, I'm not going to knock you for it if you prefer it, but I just personally prefer the dub.
That's crazy you say that too, because like I said, I was watching that movie, the Japanese dub, over and over again before it came out in theaters. So like I went to the movies, like I said, like 3 times to see it in the theaters. But I already had the Japanese dub. I never thought about the musical changes. It's to this day, because I'm so used to just watching the Japanese version. But when we do the review, we got to do both. We're gonna watch both of those movies. We got to do both. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. I'm glad you brought that up.
I think his name is Steve Jablonsky, who did the additional music for this. Like his rendition of the Godzilla theme, the fast-paced and kind of almost horror-esque composition of the Godzilla theme that plays when Orga first enters the scene is fucking masterful.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that, so I can't wait to watch that again to see all that stuff. But
I just wanted to say his name is Shinichi Wakasa.
Thank you, Wakasa. I was close. I thought I said that.
That's his name. I could have just looked at the back of freaking Blu-ray I have in my hands. But yeah, like I wholly recommend this movie. However way you prefer to watch it, it's still a great movie. I still love it to death, and I probably watch Godzilla 2000 more than I watch a lot of the Heisei series. I watch Godzilla 2000 more than I watch the MonsterVerse movies. I watch Godzilla 2000 more than a lot of movies, because it literally, this is the movie besides 98 that freaking gave me my love boner for Godzilla to this day.
So what are we saying here, ladies and gentlemen? Well, boys, I should say. What are we saying, boys? What are we saying, fellas? That for the second podcast in a row, the first 2 movies are getting 2 thumbs up?
Yeah.
Holy crap. It can only go downhill from here if you Gam Z1.
Oh, no.
So let's get right into it, because the next version, the next entry into the Godzilla Millennium series is Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. And this is one of those movies that, was I excited for. But then there's no continuation. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? What's going on? Are we doing a brand new version of Godzilla? Like, what the... I'm so used to the continuation of the Heisei series. And again, want to see Junior. And is Godzilla 2000 a very extreme mutated version of Junior? Not really, because they don't mention anything that happened before. So it's got to be its own iteration. And then we get this movie, which they show, Godzilla from 50 Days. One of the things I love is showing that suit, but reenacting classic moments in Godzilla lore.
Like literally, if you pay attention to the story, that actually is the same Godzilla from 1954. Serizawa never killed him.
Never killed him, right? And that's what I loved about it. So, when I watched the movie, and this is where it gets weird, at that point in time, I'm judging these movies. I'm judging them. And what I'm holding them up, I'm comparing them to one particular film, and what I'm comparing them to is Gamera 3. And I'm like, if this movie is better than Gamera 3, then this is definitely a go. Unfortunately, even though it's fun, it's not there. No, what do you mean it's not fair? I'm just saying.
There's only 2 movies that are better than Gamera 3, and that's the original Gojira and Shin Godzilla for me, but probably 84 for you.
We're not up to Shin Godzilla yet. We're not talking about that. You already blew your load with the Hesai at the end of the Hesai podcast, so you can't even mention that name anymore.
Oh,
all I'm saying is it was upsetting because we have so many years of Godzilla, and then you have like 3, 4 years, 5 years of Gamera in a trilogy, and they nail it. And all I'm saying is, Toho, how are you not looking at that? It's kind of like what Marvel is doing right now, as opposed to what DC's doing. DC, you've been around way longer than Marvel, yet here's Marvel kicking your ass in every aspect. And you come out with Justice. I like Justice League, but you come out with Justice League, and it's like, what are we doing here? That's how I feel. That's exactly what it was back then. What are we doing? We have all of this. You know, we have the history, the prestige. We got the Hesai series. Why are we not making a movie as good, if not better, than Gamera 3's technical feat? So in that regards, while I do like Megaguirus, it's like a Showa movie that at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, I don't care if I watch that again or not. Even though I do watch it, and I've seen Megaguirus, probably like 35 times maybe. I've watched it, and I'll watch it. But if I'm doing a marathon, it doesn't go on. It's not one of my things. I'm just not. It is what it is. But Chase, what about you?
Godzilla vs. Megaguirus was one of it's one of those unique films, in good ways and bad ways. I love the opening scene for that movie. I think it's great with all the soldiers running through the city. But man, this movie had a lot of wonkiness, man. And that's what's funny is that I don't really have any problems with the movie up until the final battle. I think the movie's great all the way up until Godzilla starts acting like a dork during the final battle, and I just at that, because of all that happens, I just can't deal with the movie. But with just that alone, I still enjoy the movie for what it was. I think there's a lot of great shots with Godzilla, especially, like with the ocean scene where she gets on top of Godzilla's dorsal fins, even though you think that would have given her severe radiation poisoning and killed her. And I love the part where he's fighting the small Meganula. I love that part, and they're trying to shoot him with the black hole. I like that. I thought that was great. But there's, of course, there's just some things that don't sit very well. But, the movie is what it is.
Gams.
This movie, like Space Godzilla before it, is filler.
You can't say this is a filler movie because this has nothing to do with anything, and that's the Millennium series.
I mean, I'm saying it's filler in a way that, like, this movie, if you look at the cast and crew between this movie and a future movie that we're going to talk about, this is actually, I consider this a prototype movie.
Oh, I absolutely got you. I love what you just said there. Absolutely.
It's a prototype movie. It's an experiment, and they perfect that concept, that idea with both the human story and what Godzilla does and all that. It all comes to fruition in another movie we're going to talk about in a minute.
Bullshit. Sorry, allergies.
Allergies, man. I hear you. Oh, what?
But no, I really do like what you said, though. You're absolutely right. A prototype movie, I never gave it that type of thought. I will never look at that movie any other way than a prototype. You're 100% correct with that.
The director's the same between those two movies. The composer's the same in between those movies, and it just feels like it's their first attempt, and they didn't get it good until their second attempt.
Absolutely. So where do you put this? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle?
In terms of overall quality, looking at the movie as not the way I was looking at it, just looking at it, Isai. If El Rey plays it on one of their kaiju thons, I'll watch it.
Okay.
So it's kind of a middle. It's kind of a meh.
Chase, you met too?
Yeah, I'm a middle ground.
I thought, all right, wow, I think this is the first time we all agreed middle ground here. I'm not going to give it a thumbs down. I don't hate it, but I totally agree. Middle ground, it's not one of my favorites, and I won't really go to the well if I'm doing a marathon, but every now and then I do pop it on. So if I, like marathons, when I say marathons, I'll take like 2 movies from Showa, 2 movies from Heisei, 2 movies from Millennium, and then that's pretty much where I end it because, everything else is relatively new and in my brain. I don't care to watch those right now. I want to go back to the well. You know what I mean? So that like Megaguirus wouldn't be one of those if I'm doing a marathon like that. But if I do a Showa marathon, then the Heisei marathon, and then the Millennium, I got to watch all of the movies. So in that regards, it's that. So all right, all middle ground here. Now we getting into it. Now here we go. I just said that when I watched Megaguirus, I was comparing it. Even 2000, I was comparing it. I was comparing it to Gamera 3. And, I mean, just the Gamera trilogy on a whole is fantastic. What does Toho go and do? They go and they get the director of the Gamera trilogy, Kaneko. And are you kidding me? He goes ahead and makes one of the greatest Godzilla movies ever made. And I love it and hate it at the same time. And it's crazy because the hate is just like, there's really nothing to hate about it. The hate has more to do with Toho than it does the movie. So Godzilla, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, or GMK for short. And Anthony, this one's for you, brother. This was it. I mean, once I found out who was on board for this movie, I'll never forget it. There wasn't much in terms of Godzilla fandom. I mean, there was, I think, Tokyo Stomp. What is it? Oh my God, Toho Kingdom, Godzilla Stomp. Even though that might have been defunct. No, it wasn't. Because Godzilla Stomp stuck around until Final Wars. But this was like, there was no, like, I didn't have no Facebook. I don't even think Facebook was a thing. There wasn't social media like this. So these, Godzilla websites was the only place I could go and talk to like-minded Godzilla fans. Like, holy crap.
I got 2 names for you, man.
Go ahead.
Barry's Temple of Godzilla and Rodan's Roost.
I love both of those because those were the originals. That's where I found, when I got my first computer, that's where I found all my, especially Barry's Temple, that's where I found all of the stuff about the Heisei series. So that's where I was like, what's going on here? But in terms of actually communicating with other Godzilla fans, it was the Stomp and it was Toho Kingdom. And I'm pretty sure there was another one, Tokyo Monsters or some shit. I forget, but that really, I didn't get into that one as much. But when GMK came out, I'm like, this is it. I would talk to everybody there. I turned to my brother and I would be like, yo, this is the one. This is the one. And then eventually it happens, all studio executives, they go ahead and they stab at the creator's vision for the movie. And while I love this movie to death, one can only dream about what we could have had with Anguirus, Baragon, and Varan. Because I love Anguirus and I love Varan very much so and would love to see updated versions of them. But Toho was like, hell no. We're going to let you keep Baragon, but you better put Mothra and King Ghidorah because they make money. And, I mean, it works. It does work to an extent. I know a lot of people don't like the idea of King Ghidorah being a guardian, a good guy monster per se. I have issues with it, but at the end of the day, the movie and on a whole delivers exactly what I want. Is it Gamera 3? Absolutely not. Is it close to it? I'd say it's probably on par, for me personally, with Gamera 1.
I'd say about that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love this movie. I absolutely do. Everything. Godzilla is the most menacing we've ever seen Godzilla. He has no pupils. That is downright disgusting and scary and disturbing. There are some fantastic shots. There's an atomic bomb level atomic breath. It is so much put into this Godzilla. And to me, it's one of those things that's fantastic. I absolutely love it. I love that Kaneko uses some of his Gamera 3 alumni and puts them in this film. I love it to death. It's one of my favorite Godzilla movies, but it ain't quite where I wanted it to be. Where I think at this point in time, especially with the same director, Toho, you made a big mistake. But I give it a thumbs up. Chase, where you sit?
So here's another one. As a kid, I did not like this movie. I did not like it just because I did not like... I still don't, but GMK Godzilla's design is one of the designs that I just tolerate. I don't care for GMK's look. I don't like Mr. Potbelly Man, and I think that was kind of weird and kind of half-assed on Toho's part, making a design like that. But, however, the movie as a whole, take away everything, I love the movie. I wish we would have gotten the one with Varan and all the other monsters slated to be in it. I think that would have been it would have been the absolute most unique Godzilla film, and It would have been probably really interesting. But, as a standpoint, the movie was fun. I loved the characters in that movie. I thought it was great. We see an actor return who was from 2000. He's in it, and I thought that was great to see him back there, even though he was kind of a silly, wonky character. But other than that, the film is fun. It has a great kind of horror-type theme to it, very high stakes, and I enjoy the movie a lot.
It's funny. I was like, "What character from 2000?" And then it hit me. The editor-in-chief of Video Q. I love that guy. Gam Gam.
My number 5 top 5 Godzilla movies, GMK boy. Woo! The practical effects, the music, the characters, everything just... Godzilla being this evil, vicious son of a bitch. I love it. I don't even care if King Ghidorah's a good guy. We've had so many different interpretations of Godzilla. Why not have a different interpretation of King Ghidorah? Fuck it.
Yeah. Okay, Planet Eater.
That was one of the things too, man.
hey, I didn't say they were all good. But this one's good. I love cute little puppy bear gun, precious boy, rip him. Just everything. Admiral Tachibana is one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise. His flashback sequence to 1954 and his recounting of the events is so good. It's so good. I cannot gush about this movie enough, but this is not a review. So 2, 3. If I had monkey thumbs before thumbs up.
So, and I also will be remiss to also say again, this movie was the first movie to actually confirm that 1998's Godzilla is a millennial movie. It is a millennium movie.
Yep.
So y'all can hate all you want. Whenever I say that, you can see all you want.
That attack on New York was Godzilla, right? Well, yeah, that's what the American experts claim, but our guys here have doubts.
Yeah, huge doubts. And that's what I love about it. It is confirmed the Millennium movie in this one. So, Gam Gam gives it 25 thumbs up. He don't have 25 thumbs unless he's like Cthulhu. This definitely gets 2 thumbs up from me. Chase?
Other than Godzilla's pot belly, I give it a thumbs up too. I love Godzilla being evil and everything like that, but his pot belly has to go.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, there we go. Now, that was that, and here we go.
Now we get to the fruition. We went from the prototype to the final product.
And this is where Toho was like, okay, we just wanted Mothra and King Ghidorah in that dude's movie because they make money. Let's get another money banger. Enter Mecha Godzilla 3. Oh, yeah. Godzilla X Mecha Godzilla, or Kiru. Oh, I love the premise. I'll never forget seeing the trailer for this movie at G-Fest. I was blown away at the idea of them using the 54 Godzilla bones to create a Mecha Godzilla. I was like, this is going to be it. I can't wait to see this movie. Then I saw the movie, and I was like, yeah, it's got some awesome shots. Definitely. Mecha Godzilla's Rampage is one of the best things ever. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, the Absolute Zero cannon doesn't come close to the black hole gun. It's whack. I can't stand it. Kiru's design is cool. I hate the Godzilla design. Godzilla got that cool opening sequence, though. Take nothing about. I love that sequence. The rain, the lightning, the thunder, Godzilla roaring. I love it. I don't like this movie at all. This movie gets a severe thumbs down. For me, I can't stand it. There are things and elements about it that I love. Again, Godzilla's bones being utilized. Yeah, you can come and zoom in all you want. But I'm going to tell you something, brother. Thumbs down. This way. And then I'll give you another one when we get to the next one. Terrible, terrible, terrible. The worst Mechagodzilla movie, hands down. Chase.
So one of my favorite Godzilla movies and one of my favorite Godzilla designs.
Thank you, Chase.
Kiru Goji to me was just an updated 2000 design.
Thank you, Chase.
That's all it was to me. I digged it. You know, I love the burly guy. You know, I feel like when Godzilla's massive and broad-shouldered and giant spiked, I think that's one of the best designs of him. You know, so Kiru Goji was one of my favorite designs, but the movie as a whole, I enjoyed a lot. You know, it's one of my favorites. It's, you know, probably on one of my top fives. I had fun with it. I watched this movie so much. You know, not a perfect movie, of course. There's a lot of dialogue stuff that just kind of throws me off. But other than that, the idea of the movie was very interesting to me, and it was different, and I enjoyed it. You know, as one of my favorites.
Gams?
G1.
Talk to me.
You're wrong.
I think so.
Godzilla against Mechagodzilla is a pretty cool movie. I like it. I like it a lot. It takes the revenge against Godzilla plot from Megaguirus, but better. It takes the military versus Godzilla plot with advancing technology and all that from Megaguirus, but better. It takes the score from Godzilla versus Megaguirus, but better.
So what you're telling me is this is an unoriginal movie?
No, you.
That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's an unoriginal because I've seen it already. And yes, I will agree with you in the fact that they added Mechagodzilla, they added some cooler elements, but just because it's called the Absolute Zero doesn't make that a cooler weapon. It's just dumb Sub-Zero ripoff.
Apparently Death Battle thought it was a cooler weapon because that's how he beat Dragon Sword.
Right, but that was that was Kiru. It wasn't the black hole gun. So I mean, that's all I'm saying. You had a prototype. The black
hole gun made no sense. All right.
It does the Absolute Zero, but this is the world we live in. It's a fictional world, and that's what we got to deal with, especially with this director who is trying to bring back the camp of the Showa series. And Megaguirus, that stupid Godzilla drop, I couldn't stand it. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Ever.
Don't remind me.
Ever. And I don't know if it's this one or if it's the Tokyo SOS, but like Kiru does this jump, slide, glide thing, and I'm like, what is he doing? Is that like karate? Get out of here with that bullshit.
Whatever you're
down it goes this way.
You're a salty old man. It's cool.
I'm not salty at all. I'm just saying this is like dumb because the original 54 Godzilla would not do a karate kung fu kick slide thing. It was dumb. It made no sense. Zero.
You're looking at a series that has Godzilla versus Megalon. Get out of here.
Zero.
But did he do it while someone was piloting him?
Yes, he did at that time. Oh, you're right. Yeah, you absolutely.
So the pilot made him do it. Mechagodzilla's probably thinking, he's probably like, "What the hell am I doing?"
That's why it looks so awkward.
Myself right now.
That's why it looks so awkward because like Godzilla's spirit is like, "No, I'm not doing that like that. Get out of here."
Anyways, like the Kiryugoji suit is probably in like my top 5 Godzilla designs. I love that suit.
Wow, I hate that suit. That's like one of my worst, like my least favorite suits. But go ahead, my bad, bro.
No, you.
No, it is me. That one, yes, definitely me.
Yeah, no, you. But it basically takes the 2000 design and takes that edge dial and just dials it back to 10 instead of 11. And I appreciate that. It's more sleeker. It's more modern. It's cool. It's the only thing I don't like about it are the big anime eyes.
Yeah,
the big anime eyes I could go without. But other than that, it's pretty dope.
The whole face looks terrible. It literally looks both these movies. It literally looks like an Ultraman show, and I can't stand it. The production value looks terrible, and that's why I hate it. And I like Ultraman, by the way. I'm not saying that I don't like it, because if that was an Ultraman monster, I'd be like, that's one of the best Ultraman monsters of all time. But that's not what this is.
Again, I will say, no, you.
But in that regard, that's a valid argument. Whereas I don't like the suit, totally me. That's definitely me. Definitely when you say no, you. But I digress. Go ahead. My bad, bro.
But I would definitely recommend this movie. I like it. It definitely feels like a part 1, though. And we'll get to that. It definitely feels like a part 1.
All right, so what we're saying here, 2 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down?
Yeah.
All right, well, I said 2 thumbs down, so it's 2 thumbs up and 2 thumbs down, damn it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, 3 thumbs up then. I'll give it 2. You.
All right, so then we jump into the next installment of this. And to be fair, the only Millennium movie that had continuity, Tokyo SOS. Godzilla x Mothra x Mecha Godzilla, Tokyo SOS. And in that regard, I like it. I do. I like this movie a lot more than I do the first one. I still don't like this series. But I will say that this movie is plagued by terrible editing towards the end, especially in the final battle. There are some really weird cuts. Mothra's coming at you this way. Next thing you know, they cut, and she's like flying from the west instead of like what's going on here? There's some really bad edits in this movie. I don't know if that was time constraints. I doubt it was, but it was some bad edits. I pointed them out. Mothra's appearance in this movie, though, is one of my favorite scenes in a Godzilla film and all of the fucking series. And Showa, Heisei, Millennium, the other crap, and Legendary. I love Mothra's entrance in this movie. I love the music. I love the jets. The way she just pops up in the middle. Good God, it's gorgeous. But outside of that, they went from a black hole gun, right, to an absolute zero to a mazer. Shut up. Get out of here with that bull. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I like it a little bit more than the last movie, but seriously, it's a downgrade. It literally was the Megara of the Millennium movies. Because make no mistake about it, Mechagodzilla was badass. That Mechagodzilla 2 was badass. I will give Kiru the damn absolute zero. I'd rather take that than a damn mazer. It was a mazer. It had a mazer. Get out of here, bro. I'm sorry. This one's another one that I get a thumbs down. I like it a lot more, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, I'm not sold. I didn't care. I like the idea they bring back the original Mothra cast and do that story like Mothra happened and they, but I couldn't stand the little kid running around and then, old man from Mothra. It was awkward to me. I couldn't buy into it. It's not my cup of tea. Yeah, I got to give this one thumbs down too. The series as a whole just didn't work. Chase, how about you?
Whereas Godzilla against Mechagodzilla is one of my favorites, Tokyo SOS, however, wasn't one of my favorites. Sure, it was the ending of the series that it established, but I also didn't care for the cameo cheat factor. But the main thing that bothered me is that the main character from against Mechagodzilla, she was not the main character in SOS, and I felt like she should have been.
I agree with you 100%.
That's where I have issues with it, because I did not like the grandson being the main character. Tokishita or whatever his name, or Toshida his name is. However, where I will say though is that I liked the series, the SOS series. I call it the SOS series.
I'm cool with that.
Just because I like Kiryu having a personality. I liked Mechagodzilla having kind of like a mind of his own. I liked the monster having an expression. I'm a sucker for monsters having humanistic expressions and personalities. Whereas I will argue, because Mechagodzilla 2 had none of that, I think Kiryu is a lot more cooler than Mechagodzilla 2. And that's where I liked Kiryu a lot, is I love that, Sayonara, Toshida, I liked having the mind of his own, not wanting to fight Godzilla because he understands they're the same species. I like that human element, that plot. But again, to me, I did not like... I didn't care for Mothra being in it. I felt like it was just a callback just because the actor was in it. It was just, let's just have Mothra in it. Well, which makes sense, which is basically why they did it, was because because he remembers this and that. Again, it was one of those things that it just didn't work with me. I feel like they should have done something better. I didn't like that the ending was basically the same as the last one, except this time he's webbed up and then he gets frozen. It just didn't sit with me as much as I hoped it would have. But however, there were a lot of sequences in this movie, like from the beginning of it, you get Godzilla, and for the rest of it, it's just destruction, and I dig that. But I have a lot of, it's not a movie I would recommend people to watch.
Gams, because I got something. Chase touched on something, and I can't wait to. But Gams, go ahead.
Again. It's not better than against Mechagodzilla, despite me saying things like, "Oh, that's definitely a part 1." Yeah, this is part 2 of what is officially known as the Kiryu saga. But it's another thing that they touched upon in the first movie that they brought full circle here is a lot of the Showa movies are actually like the non-Godzilla Showa movies are actually canon in this. Yeah, the War of the Gargantuas is canon, Space Amoeba is canon, the original Mothra's canon, the original Rodan's canon, all that, and the scene where they have the dead Kamebas in the that shows that Godzilla actually preys on things and eats things.
You mean Gamma?
No, you. It was originally supposed to be Anguirus, but it's weird. Toho is like, Anguirus is not marketable enough to be in GMK, but he's too popular to kill off in SOS. Wait, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
We'll just give him a skeletal remains in King of the Monsters, though. Don't worry about that.
In about 15 years, we'll make him come back.
It's fine.
We'll get to Anguirus in a minute,
pals. But Mothra if we don't count her design in King of the Monsters, she has never looked better. I love the Tokyo SOS look for Mothra. It is my second favorite behind the King of the Monsters design. Kiryu again is cool. He does not need the absolute zero cannon to be cool. He is just cool. Hey, you can laugh all you want, no you.
And he has that wrist sword that shocks people.
Yeah.
Cool as shit. Well, actually, he had the wrist sword in the first movie. In this movie, he had the drill hand.
That too, yeah. That's true.
Yeah, he had the drill hand. The drill hand's cool. I like the drill hand.
So he's a Megalon fan.
Yeah. The story is not nearly as strong. Again, I agree with Chase that that I forget her name because I haven't watched Godzilla against Mechagodzilla in a few months. But she really should have been. Her send off was so rushed that it was kind of ick. I really wish she would have came back and finished her arc because her arc went unfinished.
Well, that's what happens with shit movies, bro.
No, you. The one thing I didn't mention in Against Mechagodzilla that stays true with this is the miniature work. The miniature work is on point. The destruction scenes are great. A lot of this stuff I cannot recommend enough. The story's just not as strong. I can only recommend this if you watch Against Mechagodzilla first, because this is definitely part 2. If you watch this by itself, you're not going to get a lot of it. It's a lot of it's going to come off as random shit to you. Hey. So definitely watch Against Mechagodzilla first before you watch this one.
I like what you said there because I was one of those people who saw Terror of Mechagodzilla 15 times before I saw Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, or the Cosmic Monster, as it was dubbed for my television. That being said, I love the idea of Megaguirus being a prototype. You said that. I like that. But the fact of the matter is all they did was copy-paste and added some extra layers to it. That's why I don't like Godzilla x Mechagodzilla. And the same thing can be applied to Tokyo SOS because all they did was add Mechagodzilla to the ending of a remake of Godzilla vs. Mothra 64. So stop the presses. It's whack. It's terrible. 2 thumbs down. I don't care what nobody says. But, so, Gams, what's your verdict? 2 thumbs up?
1 thumb up.
1 thumb up. Chase?
I will say it's hard because if you're just watching it just to watch it, thumbs down. But if you're watching it because you want to continue the series, thumbs up. But more of a middle ground type thing.
So 1 thumbs down, 1 thumbs up, 1 middle ground. That's how it goes. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the most seriously, well, before Shin Godzilla, the most divisive Godzilla movie of all time. There has never been another Godzilla movie before Shin Godzilla that has divided the fandom ever as much as the final entry in the Millennial Saga. And that...
Yeah, you were thinking it was 98.
Yeah. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Godzilla Final Wars. Oh, man, this is a tough one. I can't even call it, man. I'm not even... Until we do the reviews, I can't even say where I rank this one. Because, good God almighty, this is top 3 in the Millennium.
Oh, don't fool us. It's a thumbs up and above for you.
You know it is. You know it is. They do everything right. I don't care what anybody says. I said this before. It was either in the Hesai talk or in this one. The fact, it was the Hesai. The idea that they take movies and then take them, like, well-established movies, and then use them in Godzilla. Just say, fuck it, who's going to sue us? We're making a Godzilla movie. Because I saw The Matrix, I saw some X-Men, I saw Star Wars, I saw Independence Day in a Godzilla movie. I also saw Destroy All Monsters. What? We got one of the most fantastic updates of King Ghidorah. We got a fantastic new entry in Monster X. We got the most dopest revamp of any kaiju in Gigan. So shut your mouths. Okay, nobody says. The music is wacky at times, but fantastic in other times. The action is nonstop. And come on, man. I'm sorry. This is literally, oh my God. This movie is Earth Defense Force 2099, whatever that. This movie is the equivalent to Earth Defense Force, the video game. This movie gets 2 thumbs up. For me, I love it. I absolutely love it. As stupid and bad and... Oh, by the way, 1998's Godzilla's in it. He's called Zilla. But it's him. It's that thing. It eats fish. And then he gets obliterated by Godzilla. So if that's not worth the price of admission alone, people, get out of here with that bogus crap. I love this movie to death. Megsy, my brother Chase, where you at?
Man, you know, Final Wars to me is a tough one because whereas everyone has their movies where they think they're filler movies, this movie to me was a filler movie. It was a shoehorned Godzilla film. However, I love Godzilla's design. Final Wars Godzilla was cool, and he was very, very ferocious and powerful and menacing, and I loved it. However, it is another movie where Godzilla needs help from people to survive, and that's not King of the Monsters to me, people. Godzilla does not need help from people, you know, and it bothers me that the final movie reverted to that, and I have issues with it. But the movie as a whole is a fun movie. If you want to get drunk or stoned or whatever, watch it. You're going to have a good time.
Watch it sober, like I did.
What?
Watch it sober, like I did, 15,000 times.
You can watch it sober and also have a good time. I love all of the homage to Godzilla in the beginning. That opening title sequence, where it goes through the time lapse of Godzilla. I thought that was great. It had a lot of cool moments. It was a fun giant monster movie, but I can't give it a thumbs up because of, I don't know. I don't know where I sit on it, honestly, because it's not, I don't dislike the movie. I don't hate it, but to recommend it to someone is difficult to me because there are parts of me that's like, I would skip it and probably not watch it, but then there's parts of me that's like, no, there are many worth things watching. But so it's hard for me. I don't know where I absolutely sit. I'm kind of back and forth, so maybe it's a middle ground. And other than that, Don Fry, I love Don Fry in the movie. He was great. But other than that, I was disappointed that it was kind of what it was. I felt like it could have been maybe something to look a little bit better, a little bit cooler. So that's where it's middle ground with me. But again, don't hate the movie, but I don't love it either. It's just one of those movies that is. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to totally disagree with you. This is one of the coolest looking Godzilla movies I've ever seen. Come on, look at them zillions, bro, with the leather clad, and then he puts the glasses on. It's just pitch perfect cheese fest.
But then I need to watch The Matrix.
But that's my point, and that's what I'm saying. The idea, that's what I love, I guess, I see what you're saying, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, we're totally opposite, and I get that. I love the idea that they're ripping off The Matrix. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the idea
none of that stuff bothered me. None of the stuff with the soldiers or the mutants or the Exilians bothered me. It's basically just, I don't know. There's one point where the film just feels like it just teeters off and falls off a cliff, and that's where it goes. And that's what bothers me.
That's called the beginning of the movie. It's just like, the movie is just one perpetual fall into madness, and I love it. Gams.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if Gam was on the show one, he would have said Terra Mechagodzilla. Meh. I swear to God. It seems like you don't like the end of these series.
No, I love Terra Mechagodzilla. Terra Mechagodzilla is one of my favorites. This movie, on the other hand, this is the 50th anniversary movie. Why didn't we get something serious?
What are you talking about?
It is the 50th anniversary of the original Godzilla.
Yeah.
Of the original dark, depressing Godzilla. We should have gotten something good, dark, depressing, fucking... Ooh.
Whose fault is that?
Huh?
Whose fault is that?
Toho's.
That's right. Kitamura said, hey, I want to make this movie. Toho could just be like, no. The same way they shut down GMK. They're going to be like, nah, chill, what are you doing? That's not what it is. But Toho said...
I don't care the reasoning behind the movie. By the movie, I care that the movie exists and it's supposedly the 50th anniversary movie, and no.
So going off of that, that's why you don't like it?
But looking at it by itself, now that we have things like Shin, no, you shut up.
Zip. Toss.
No. I'm not letting you talk.
No, I'm throwing it away. I want you to speak.
The movie, I can look at it now, and I've mellowed out on it a little bit. I used to vehemently hate it before we got things like Shin. But now I've mellowed out on it. It's got cool moments, but it's also got stupid shit. Like, yeah, it's got that delicious comeuppance with Zilla, but then literally every other fucking monster besides Monster X dies the exact same fucking way.
That's not true.
Death is not special when literally every other monster dies within seconds.
That's not true. Kamakarus was impaled. Kamunga got thrown into the atmosphere.
I'm not talking about how they're killed. I was talking about how fast they were killed.
You said the exact same way. I'm just saying. That's what you said.
The exact same way is in that they only lasted 15 seconds. Every single monster lasted 15 seconds except for Monster X, and that's stupid.
Rodan, Anguirus, King Caesar.
They lasted 15 seconds.
That wasn't 15 seconds. That was a whole soccer match if you didn't pay attention.
No, together the fight lasts a little bit longer, but if you take each individual monster getting knocked out, 15 seconds.
You want to talk about how long it took for Godzilla to knock out a monster, where I'm going to counter that when say, is that all the screen time the monsters had? I would give you Hedorah.
Like, literally, it doesn't make Godzilla... Excuse me. It doesn't make Godzilla look powerful. It makes every other Godzilla creature that he fights look like a bitch.
We don't know that, but maybe they are actually powerful, but this Godzilla is just the one.
They didn't convey it very well. It literally, to me, made every monster look like a bitch.
Okay, and that's the thing, because in the beginning of the movie, when the monsters start attacking, like, they're destroying everything. Everything. And what does Godzilla not destroy? He can't destroy Katenko, whether it was in the 60s or in 2005. Okay? He can't do it. But he can whip ass on every other monster. Whip ass. Whip ass. Those monsters was tearing shit up in the beginning of that movie. They were individually placed in a different city and destroying every Earth Defense Force that ship that was available. Getting decimated.
And then Godzilla made them look like fucking punks.
Because it's Godzilla's 50th anniversary and it's a Godzilla movie. Bam! In the face. Knock him out. He's the baddest motherfucker on the block. He's the baddest mofo on the block. And that's what happens. Now, I get the 50th anniversary beef. I totally do. Because I actually was one of those.
Like, perfect. I always say this. If you had to not have a solo movie be the 50th anniversary movie, then why not go with something like IDW's Godzilla the Half-Century War? That's an amazing story that has a lot of kaiju in it.
Because that's not something they were thinking of. That was something that came after Final Wars. I mean, like, way after Final Wars.
I'm saying, what if they had more time before the 50th anniversary to come up with something good like that?
I tell you what, I'm going to call my good friend MGG, and I'm going to be like, hey, I need you to come back in time to this time. Go back, grab this, go back in time to Final Wars, and then just change the timeline completely so we can get a Godzilla. Because I think that's a great idea. I'm not even lying. That's a fantastic idea. It's something that Megaguirus introduced. The very beginning of Megaguirus, showcasing that Godzilla's been around since 54, came back in 64, blah, 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 and here we are now. That's a fantastic idea. Seeing something like that, I agree with you. I am one of those people who argue, not argue, but were like, this is Godzilla's 50th, and all we got is a remake of Destroy All Monsters on crack. But then I think about it, and I'm like, holy crap, it's Godzilla's 50th, and we got Godzilla destroying all the monsters, as opposed to the monsters coming together to destroy King Ghidorah. I got this many problems with that movie, 0. And talk about quotables. Sorry, I'm a vegetarian. Give me a break, brother. I'm done. Get out of here with that bullshit. I love it to death.
And like I said, I've mellowed out on the movie. I still hate on a lot of things about it, but there are some cool things. Again, like Chase said, Don Frye.
Yeah, man.
One of the best American actors to ever grace a Godzilla movie.
100%.
The Exilian leader. He's so his energy and you could tell he loved doing that role.
You know, we're in review territory here.
I know. I'm sorry.
So where do you put this at the end of the day nowadays that you've mellowed out? Middle ground. Chase, you're middle ground too, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I make up for both of you. 25 thumbs up, I'm Cthulhu. Bam, baby! Ha ha! No, I'm just kidding. Middle ground, 2 thumbs up. Listen, I can't be mad at my cohorts. I love... What? Shut your face. You know you. I love both you dudes. I swear to God. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you agree or disagree with us, just know this one thing. Godzilla 1998 is a part of the Millennium series. I don't care.
And we all gave it a thumbs up.
So they could... Dude, we're going to have 0 subscribers at the end of this podcast. And we still got 2 more series to talk about. My God, man. My God. But that'll do it for this episode of the Godzilla Block Party. I want to thank my cohorts and hosts for being here. Gams, thank you, my brother.
Of course.
And of course...
Now that we've gone past the new millennium, Y2K didn't happen, we can go into the future.
We could totally go into the future. And of course, once again, my brother G73 Chase, thank you for being here with us.
Oh, absolutely. It was a blast.
And thank all of y'all for listening to this and sticking around, hopefully. But that'll do it for this particular episode of the Godzilla Block Party. Part 3 of Godzilla's 65th anniversary, the Millennium Saga. I am G1. We're out of here. Peace.